Okay, so it's 11:30. About to get 11:30. So this session is a Leo PNT panel. So we have six panelists, including me and JJ. So the two in-person panelists and other four panelists are attending remotely. So we are about to get started. Okay, please show the first presentation, please. Okay, please wait for a moment. They are trying to solve the technical problem. Yes, so I'm now seeing the many virtual attendees on my screen. So please note that mute your mic when the presentation is going on. Pietro, are you there? Pietro? Okay. Okay, so please start with your presentation. Okay.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This is our second back-to-back session, so we're doing a little bit of running, but hopefully everyone is situated. And I know we've got a number of people online, so we do appreciate that. James Miller from NASA headquarters. I'm going to say right up front, I'm not a LEO PNT expert, but I do have 25 years of experience working GNSS systems, working for both industry and government. So I do have some thoughts and perspectives in terms of how these new systems really should be integrated into some of the larger statewide systems that are coming online. So next chart, please. Great. They always tell me this works. but it does not. Okay, here's kind of the key. LEO PNT. How does it differ really from what we know is up there already? We've got 4 global systems. We've got a couple of regional systems up there. The governments have invested. They've become utilities that are widely adopted and relied upon. However, obviously, some gaps remain. And so these companies that are building LEO PNT feel that these are areas that they can serve that the government currently is not, right? So this raises a host of questions because being a government provider, the Space Force running GPS for the United States, we want to understand and make sure there will be no interference. Spectrum interference just being one aspect of that, right? So the first rule as new systems come online is do no harm. That's compatibility. The next step is interoperability, right? We really want to have one box that might be able to take advantage of both the global systems that the governments are running and then some of these private sector smaller systems. And so we've really come to a point where there's so many of these LEO PNT companies coming online that we really have a need to understand fully, what they intend to provide. And remember, because they're private sector organizations, there may be some proprietary issues, there may be some national security issues. And so what we've attempted to do is bring all of the players together. My colleague, Jeff Auerbach, who leads the the U.S. Delegation to the International Committee on GNSS, actually brought everyone together at our last meeting to have a discussion. So all of the questions here I'm not going to go through. You've got access to them. But these are the types of information that we really felt was important to gather from these companies that are coming online. As an example, the LEO mega constellations are way beyond the LEO PNT that we're here to talk about today, right? We understand the gaps in broadband internet and the Starlink system, the new Amazon Kuiper system. I mean, it's amazing, and we can all understand the benefits. Remote sensing is another area. The PNT area, honestly, I'm not so sure about. We have had Iridium, GPS. Everyone's heard of iGPS many years ago. And so there are some capabilities out there that could be added to basic GNSS, but each one is specific and each one needs to be tailored to a customer group. And from my perspective, I don't really understand yet who those customers are. Who is knocking on the door saying that we're not getting what we need from GPS plus kinematic service that's broadcast terrestrially. So for me, it's a very interesting development. At NASA, we want to support private sector development. We actually have a magazine called Spinoff where we take the technology, we develop it, then we hand it off to industry. And even with our communications networks, we are going to be commercializing NASA communication networks in the future. So if you take a look at LEO PNT, I think it's of interest for all of us to understand exactly, what does that mean? Who is their customer base? And some of these companies won't make it. Some of them will, and it's going to be up to us as government representatives to kind of help fill in the gaps and make them successful where we can. So PNT applications, we know they're challenging in some areas. I've walked in Tokyo and my blue dot is jumping around, right? We've got a lot of multipath in the urban canyons. Perhaps they're trying to fill in the gap. But the bottom line is where are the requirements? What is being missed? And from a provider, again, that's one of the key questions I have. At the ICG, this was our first attempt to bring everyone together, put all these questions on the table, and get some feedback from the actual providers. And so, because I'm not a LEO PNT service provider, I just wanted to put this chart up there, because if anyone in the room has an interest to follow up, I would suggest get in contact with some of these presenters, with some of these companies. I've made it easy for you. We're going to continue to have the conversation. We do believe that there's going to be value added. We just haven't quantified that yet. So bottom line, more discussions needed. We're going to continue to do some workshops. This is an exciting new area, but we have a lot of questions that remain. Thank you, Messiah.
Thank you very much, JJ. Okay, let's move on to the next panelist. Dr. Raid, are you online?
Yes, hello.
Okay, could you share your presentation slides?
Yes, certainly. One moment.
So Pietro is not online, right? Pietro, are you there? Okay, then please, Dr. Raid, proceed with your presentation.
Very good. Hopefully that's coming through on your side.
Not yet. Please wait a moment. Please wait a few seconds. I think it's going to show up here. Okay, we are now seeing. Please start.
All right, very good. So I'll say thank you so much for the invitation to speak here today. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you, and thank you for the organization.
Recording
of the panel.
stopped.
Great to be a part of it. My name is Tyler Reed, and I'm co-founder and CTO of Zona Space Systems, one of the companies mentioned that's focused on fielding a dedicated commercial LEO PNT system. I'd like to begin with the landscape of how interest in the topic of LEO, at least from the perspective of the navigation community, has changed just even in the last few years. And what this slide shows is the number of times these particular words, so GPS, Galileo, Beidou, et cetera, appeared in ION GNSS, in the ION GNSS program, which, as many of you know, is one of the large navigation conference in North America. And in what I'll call kind of the pre-COVID times, so kind of 2019, the last big gathering of folks, and compare that to 2022 when sort of things really sort of started to pick up momentum again and folks were meeting in person, you can see that even in just that short period, we see a huge change in the interest in the topic of LEO. And a few observations here. We see GPS by itself perhaps having less papers. We see a growing interest in Galileo and Beidou, so more and more interest in kind of multi-constellation solutions, sustained interest in high precision, precise point positioning. And now, of course, we see a lot of growth in the LEO topic, even starting to rival as many papers presented on the topic of Galileo. And why is this? And in my view, it's simple. It's that there are applications looking for better PNT, and usually measured by either improved accuracy, resiliency, or security, or some combination of the above. And there's really an opportunity in LEO for PNT because of this exponential growth that we're seeing in LEO right now. And to show this exponential growth, here's a chart that shows the number of operational satellites in orbit versus time, really since the dawn of the space age. And you can see that in any given year, what is the number of satellites that are operational. And you can see this was sort of a steady increase over time, really a linear increase until about 2013, where we hit that inflection point and we see that sudden and exponential growth happening, with really all of that growth in space happening in LEO, with SpaceX being one of the contributors there, of course. And so really this is that opportunity that I think that folks are gravitating towards, not just in navigation, but in other domains as well. And what are the motivating factors for this? And I apologize, the numbers on my slide are a little bit out of date here because things are changing so quickly. But of course, data services, broadband are one of those. I think one of the poster childs of this, of these kind of new generation of mega constellations, is of course the SpaceX Starlink system. Building constellations of thousands or even tens of thousands of satellites. But we also see, a lot happening in the commercial remote sensing world. So these are companies like Planet Inspire, delivering geospatial data to improve our understanding of our world. But we're really starting to see commercialization happening in navigation, with, of course, several companies, not just our company, Zona, being very active in this, with, constellations planned typically in the kind of 200 to 300 satellites, and really targeting different levels of service, different designs, and really bringing different features to different industries to close some of the gaps that were mentioned by a previous speaker. And this is really being fielded now. And since May of 2022, and apologies, this chart's already a little bit out of date. We've seen 15 LEO PNT satellite launched just in 1 year, and there's many more planned that I'm sure we'll hear about today. But I think this really shows that the rate at which this world is changing, and we're seeing these satellites being launched really in a way that are dedicated for PNT. So it's a really exciting time, I think. To give some words on the specifics of our company, Zona Space Systems, we're working towards the deployment of a commercial satellite navigation system designed really to provide the combination of global accuracy and integrity, resilience and security needed to ensure safe operation of modern technologies. So things like emerging technologies like autonomous vehicles, but of course other domains as well. We're a venture-backed startup supported by the likes of Toyota Ventures and Lockheed Martin. Of course, Lockheed builds the GPS-3 satellites today, so it's great to have their support. And the photo on the right is of our first satellite payload, which we called Hugin. And to solve the challenges that commercial users face, we really have to start with the user requirements. And this has been our design philosophy since day one. And we found that to address the challenges, faced in several industries, we need a system that provides, modern and adaptable security, centimeter level accuracy that really you can achieve quickly, fast convergence times, civil aviation level integrity for, emerging applications such as autonomous vehicles, but also urban air mobility and others as well. Enhancements for legacy GNSS signals, so these are things like PPP corrections, but also resistance to interference. And perhaps most importantly is that the solution has to be easy to integrate for that adoption. So something that's not too foreign to existing GNSS user equipment to integrate that in a way that's straightforward. And so our answers to this is a system that we call Pulsar. And so Pulsar is a LEO PNT system which provides accuracy through fast LEO motion of those satellites, and as well as PPP data to accelerate that convergence, resilience through L-band RNSS signals, and we're targeting 100 times stronger signals than GPS and GNSS today, which leads to that kind of easy adoption with it being an L-band, and security through data authentication and encryption of the service. And we plan to deploy the first version of this regionally over the mid-latitudes with a one-in-view LEO service to enhance GNSS with around 30 satellites, and ultimately targeting around 260 satellites to provide global PNT. And you can imagine there's a phase rollout in between those 2 points to offer various services over time as we ramp up. Our first demonstration satellite was launched in May of 2022. And at a high level, the objective of this mission was to showcase that a payload deployed on a LEO small satellite can produce PNT signals of comparable quality to GNSS. And it was really to challenge that paradigm that kind of only these big government programs can really provide something in the PNT space, and that a small company can also do something that brings value and that's interesting to commercial customers. Our tech demo mission really did a lot to validate our core technology. It successfully transmitted precision LEO PNT signals from space to ground.
Sorry to interrupt. You have 1 minute left.
Okay, very good. And really was able to showcase that kind of centimeter level, that accuracy there. Of course, satellites are just one piece of the equation. We're excited to be working with several partners, both in the receiver and the simulator space, to support our signals going forward. And just a few words. Of course, regulatory is a huge portion of this, and we're very active in the coordination of our ITU filings, which you'll see there are kind of adjacent to L1 and L5 as part of that coordination process. And of course, we're all about not causing harmful degradation to the existing GNSS systems. So with that, I think I'm at my time. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you very much, Dr. Ray. Okay, let's move on to the next panelist. Joshua, are you there? Joshua?
Yes, I'm here.
Please share your
Okay.
presentation.
Yes. Let me... a second. And I'll swap the screen around.
Okay, we are now seeing, so please proceed.
Wonderful. Yes, well, firstly, thank you so much for the invitation to present today. It's really wonderful to be talking on this very, very fascinating topic alongside panelists that are present here today. So thank you so much. And this is actually my company's ArcEdge Space first presentation on the topic of LEO PNT. So I thought it was maybe helpful to give a bit of background, I guess, to the company itself, and then what we are already doing in PNT-related technology spaces, and then where we see our contribution in future, and also raising some of the important topics that I think have been somewhat put forward by the other panelists. So thank you. Yes, so my company is from ArcEdge Space. We were originally a spin-off from the University of Tokyo, Nakasuka Banase Laboratory, which has a very strong heritage in small satellite technology. There's about 20 years of history, and the laboratory also holds the claim of one of the first CubeSats developed in the early 2000s. Solutions focused on using both 6U and 3-unit bus platforms, and we have approximately 100 employees under CEO Takeyoshi Ukio. And we have quite a significant amount of heritage, even though we are still quite new. One of our first satellites being RASat with the Rwandan Space Agency. And that was mostly focused towards a capacity building program. So helping and aiding developing countries to get access to space and feel that they also are making a contribution to the sector and they're delivering services for their country with an asset they own and operate. Future missions currently in development include the VHF data exchange system, which is the new maritime communication standard, the next generation of AIS, or the automatic identification system. And I'll actually go into a few details on that later on. Also alongside OnGlySat, which is the Taiwan Space Agency, and Comet Interceptor, which is one of our larger platforms, and that is a joint collaboration between JAXA and ESA towards Comet interception, essentially. And a lot of the benefits of our company and business is our satellite design, which based on many long years of heritage and spinning off from more university basis, we have a very strong foundation in modularized component design, such as onboard computers, power control units, communications, etc., and being able to create a standard model bus platform that can host payloads like a payload delivering LEO PNT related services. And this sort of shared based platform we think is necessary, I guess, to enable sort of LEO PNT and to make it deliverable. It has to be considered in a way towards shared services. And there's many other LEO PNT companies that are considering utilizing the services of broadband internet constellations to deliver lower orbit position navigation timing. And we have quite strong goals towards 40, 100,000 satellites over the next years to come on many different sort of technology applications. And as I've been, I guess, hinting at, many of our services come from both capacity building and IoT communications, Earth observation, all the way down to lunar infrastructure. And VHF, so digitization of the maritime space and having satellite connectivity for shipping vessels. And we see those two areas, I guess, as key enablers towards resilient and high-precision position navigation timing. And we consider there's kind of two sort of applications area of LEO PNT. You've got looking at mass market applications, high precision, but also looking towards more that critical infrastructure and sovereignty. My heritage is from Australia, and we don't have our own GNSS system in Australia, in though very fortuitous, I guess, of having access to all the world's GNSS systems. And I think LEO PNT has quite a strong application towards delivering maybe not the same sort of level of quality that you can get from GNSS, but some sort of degraded service that gives confidence to the country that they have control over this utility, because that's really what PNT is. It's a utility, even though it's not being described as such like power or telecommunications. It's a utility that societies rely on. But currently, I guess many nations use services from specific government actors provided as a utility for their country. One of the first solutions that we have towards position navigation timing and that we consider to be a translation towards low Earth orbit position navigation timing is the Lunar Navigation Satellite System with JAXA, which we're contributing to a concept study for. And we're using trying to collect high accuracy GNSS signals from Earth-based orbit and trying to use that to synchronize both orbit determination and timing of a lunar orbiting system. And from this sort of development, we've been shown to deliver quite accurate horizontal positioning errors down to 17.55 meters, as you can see in our diagram. And we look forward to seeing the developments of this further. But a key enabler, obviously, of any sort of mass market delivered LEO PNT service is on high accuracy GNSS service delivery. And we can translate this sort of probably much harder problem of trying to track GNSS signals around the moon and apply that to having very high accuracy orbit determination timing for a satellite in low Earth orbit to deliver the signal performances that are required for mass market applications. But another very interesting area that we consider to be a first enabler towards sort of LEO PNT services is through the VHF data exchange system. And this is, as I've mentioned, digitization of maritime infrastructure, enabling two-way communications between satellite and ship compared to just ships broadcasting regular signals from the ship to a LEO-based satellite. And it has many sorts of applications, from detection of suspicious ships on the ocean, proof of origin of seafood catches, and doing search and rescue and communications between vessels that wouldn't have been enabled before. But a very interesting area that we consider maybe a first demonstration of something towards LEO PNT is the application of what is considered R mode, which has currently only been considered for terrestrial stations. But we think that there could be applications towards the spacecraft itself. And this is already an allocated frequency in the VHF waveband. A challenge for LEO PNT, we think, is the frequency allocation, and interoperability and compatibility with other users of the spectrum and services delivered by the spectrum is really important, and working together towards achieving these frequency bands. And we can see this through the maritime community in requiring additional services and support for resilience of maritime sea vessels. So for what is in L-band an easily targeted jammed spectrum, VHF is much more challenging, requiring much higher transmitting power to be able to disrupt and spoof, and can provide that sort of resilient sovereignty. So using our heritage, I guess, from lunar PNT, but also looking into maritime sort of applications, it's really on that customer delivery and those initial applications that we see a need in, to then delivering the sort of mass market applications and also critical infrastructure. Mass market being that you're using, I guess, those medium Earth orbit constellations to deliver the high accuracy orbit determination timing for the satellite on board, but also having systems that are independent from this infrastructure and acting independently, so it can be treated as a backup and with confidence from other nations to feel that this is something that they are paying for this service, and they're going to have confidence. that
Joshua, one minute left. You have 1 minute left.
I'll finish up here, then, so I have time for the other panelists. But thank you so much, and hopefully I've delivered some of the ideas from our side towards LEO PNT from ArcEdge. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Joshua. Okay, next panelist is from China Sense Space. Dr. Myung Liang, are you online?
Yes, I'm online.
Okay, could you share your presentation?
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me well?
Sorry, could you wait a little bit? It's not coming yet. Okay, you can start, please.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mingliang Xu from Beijing Future Navigation Technology Company. Today, I'd like to share the preliminary PPP experiments and future applications of science-based system. With the rapid growth of modern information industries like 5G, mobile internet, autonomous driving, and artificial intelligence, traditional meter-level precision navigation services are no longer sufficient to meet user demands. There is a rising demand for high-precision navigation services in various sectors, including traditional profession, UAV applications, consumer electronics, and the Internet of Vehicles and the Internet of Things. These industries require positioning accuracy better than 10 centimeters. The demand for high precision positioning can be summarized as follows: positioning accuracy better than 10 centimeters and integrity better than 99.9%. Global coverage, ubiquitous availability, and continuous reliability. Cost effectiveness and user-friendly. Unidirectional passive operation, privacy and security considerations. Therefore, a centralized system is needed with the service feature of being as convenient as basic navigation services while providing high accuracy. The science-based system has two main segments, the space segment and the ground segment. The space segment consists of 190 LEO satellites, divided into 3 sub-constellations. The ground segment includes multiple monitor stations, which play a vital role in systems operation. During the signal design progress, the following factors were considered. First, lower user device complexity. Second, interoperability with MEO system. Third, interoperability with geo-augmentation system. Fourth, compatibility with MEO and geo systems. Finally, the combination of L1 and L5 bands is the preferred option. In this part, I'll present the initial results of our PPP experiments using our experimental satellites. Space segment, we use 2 experimental satellites. Ground segment, 2 stations are selected. First, we can get the track compared between GNSS and the LEO satellites. The left image shows the sky view tracks in one orbit arc, including both GNSS satellites and LEO satellites. The green line represents the LEO satellites, whose tracks are longer. A longer track indicates faster movement and can provide more information for the PPP algorithm. The right image shows the sky view tracks of 2 LEO satellites in 20 days. Next, we'll explore the potential of LEO augmentation for PPP. We compared convergence time and precision in different scenarios, with and without LEO augmentation. The results clearly demonstrate the benefits of LEO augmentation, including reduced convergence time and improved positioning precision. These findings highlight the potential of LEO augmentation, and larger improvements can be achieved with more LEO satellites to be deployed in the future. In this part, we'll discuss the future applications of LEO augmentation. First, we shall accelerate the development of LEO augmented navigation basic products utilizing existing application industries, including upgrade products quickly and expand to various fields. The development of basic products includes chip development, board module development, antenna development, and terminal integration. For chip development, the functionality of LEO augmentation can be added through software upgrades while utilizing existing hardware resources without any hardware modifications. Then the application solutions can be upgraded and expanded by utilizing LEO augmentation, including traditional high-precision applications, emerging high-precision applications, transportation industry, and mass consumption. For example, for transportation industry, LEO augmentation can enhance its capability to meet new demands like autonomous driving and lane-level navigation. Finally, we'll share our development plan. Our plan is to complete the construction of the entire constellation within several years and provide worldwide augmentation navigation services. This will augment existing navigation systems and provide precise position. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next panelist with me become the final panelist. So could you share my presentation? So let me confirm again. Pietro, are you online there? Okay, then I will start my presentation. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. The title of my presentation is a preliminary study result on JAXA LEO PNT system. My name is Masaya Murata from Japanese Space Agency. JAXA.
Recording in progress.
So our LEO PNT concept is shown here. We will aim for to provide a LEO PNT augmentation for the existing GNSS, and we aim for the provision of alternative PNT service to the GNSS using the LEO PNT system. And we are now aiming to design our system to become highly autonomous by using the onboard GNSS navigation technique for the LEO satellites. So the orbit and clock information for the LEO satellite will be estimated online on board using the GNSS measurement coming from the MEO. And we especially aim to provide ultra-rapid precise point positioning, PPP service, convergence service for Earth users. So this is our LEO PNT concept. And this slide showed 3 features that accelerate the PPP convergence time by LEO PNT system. The first feature is because the LEO satellite moves much faster than the GNSS satellites, which yields temporary diversified measurements that accelerate the PPP convergence time. The second feature is because we're going to use a much larger number of satellites than the GNSS satellites, which yields the spatially diversified measurements that also contribute to the reduction of the PPP convergence time. And finally, because we can utilize the precise GNSS measurements to estimate the precise orbit and clock information for the LEO satellites, which result in providing the precise LEO PNT measurements for Earth users. So these three features together dramatically accelerate the PPP convergence time by using the LEO PNT system. So this slide shows our simulation results on the PPP convergence time. The upper table shows the effect of the number of LEO satellites and the signal in space error values on the PPP convergence time. In this table, a single circle and a double circle show the confirmed convergence times less than 3 minutes and 1 minute respectively. So as you can see, if the larger number of LEO satellites and the lower CCE becomes the higher, becomes the more rapid convergence time. And to achieve the 3-minute PPP convergence time, we selected the 240 satellite with the signal in space error 20 centimeter. So this condition was selected as our phase 1 LEO PNT system. And to achieve the 1-minute PPP convergence, we selected the 480 LEO satellite with the signal in space error with 10 centimeter. So we're going to do this phase development approach to complete the LEO PNT system. For your reference, if we just use the GPS satellite, the PPP convergence time was about 25 to 30 minutes. So comparing these numbers, we can actually observe the rapid, significant reduction of the PPP convergence time. And this slide shows our phase 1 LEO PNT constellation plan. And we aim for the 2030 using the 240 satellites. We're going to use a global Walker constellation with the inclination 55 degrees, altitude 975 kilometers. And we're going to aim for the CCM 20 centimeter by using the GNSS onboard navigation technique for LEO satellites. And then, as shown in this table, we aim to achieve the 10 centimeter level horizontal PPP convergence less than 3 minutes with a probability of 99%. And to provide the PNT signal, we are now we are now interested in using a C-band as shown here to become interoperable with the other LEO PNT systems. And this slide shows the phase 2 or LEO PNT phase 2 concept plan using 408 satellites. Again, the global Walker constellation and using 408 satellites. And this time, we aim to achieve the CC of 10 centimeter by both using GNSS onboard navigation plus and on-ground POD, precise orbit determination. So using this constellation, we aim to achieve the 10 centimeter level horizontal PPP convergence less than 1 minute with a probability around 75 or 80%. So regarding the on-ground POD, this one is categorized in our phase 2, so we aim in 2035 this on-ground POD is to achieve the CC level 10 centimeter. So we're gonna deploy the network of LEO PNT dedicated Earth stations, and these Earth stations will receive LEO PNT navigation signal, and which enables the in-depth analysis of this signal. And based on them, the Earth station will calculate the POD and uplink to the LEO satellite and propagate using inter-satellite links. So using this concept, we are trying to achieve the CC level, challenging the CC level 10 centimeter. The number of necessary stations on ground and their optimal distribution are currently under study. So to conclude, the JAXA studied the design of the LEO PNT system, and our initial design results were shown in this talk. Our phase 1 LEO PNT system aims to provide the ultra-rapid PPP convergence service less than 3 minutes by the onboard GNSS navigation for the LEO satellites. At phase 2, we aim to provide the PPP convergence less than 1 minute by also using the LEO PNT dedicated ground stations and their on-ground PLD reloads. And we intend to design our system to be interoperable and compatible with the other LEO PNT system under development. So we are happy to join such international interoperability discussion. Thank you very much. So we have 15 minutes left. So let me confirm again. Pietro, are you online? Seems not. Then let's move on to the QA. And I will start with my question to every panelist. The first question is this one. The GNSS is an essential infrastructure for providing PNT service. and government agencies are in charge of their respective systems. On the other hand, the LEO PNT systems are expected to be primarily operated by private companies. How do you think about the coexistence of the GNSS and LEO PNT system? And how do you seek for the effective collaboration between them? Okay, I'd like to start with JJ.
Thank you, Messiah. I think the coexistence is already starting, right? Your presentation is the perfect example. You're with a government agency and you are looking to work with industry, and I think a lot of our success in the future is going to be based on public-private partnerships, right? And so the fact that you are so eager to work with industry, I think will stimulate interest. We'll continue to have these discussions within the International Committee on GNSS and other forums, and just thank you for that.
Thank you very much, JJ. Dr. Reid, are you still there?
Yes. No.
Okay,
thank you for the question. It's a great. I think that's a great question, and JJ, I think we share a similar sentiment to you. And I think in terms of these systems coexisting, the kind of the MEO systems are really we see as like the backbone of kind of navigation for everyone, and the LEO systems really adding to that to really bring new capability that augments that, or in specific ways for specific industries. And I think we've already seen today several different flavors of that, which I think are targeting different needs for different user groups and under a different lens. And so in terms of these sort of being interoperable and sort of coexisting, I think it comes down to the use cases and how these systems play together to play off each other to bring the most to the end user at the end of the day. And sort of how that plays out, I think it's sort of uncharted territory right now, and I think we're all sort of part of that journey right now together.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Reid. Joshua, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, could you provide your comment?
Yeah, so that was a very interesting question, and I probably do also share the same sentiment as JJ and Tyler. I do think that GNSS services are an absolute complement and backbone of any LEO PNT system, and especially to deliver the high accuracy needs of some user groups. An interesting, I guess, perspective I do want to share is I think PNT is the criticality of it is really rising in presence for many governments across the world, including ones that own GNSS and ones that don't own GNSS. And I think we're starting to see PNT really maturing as a utility itself that is essential for user groups. And currently other utility sectors, you have many companies operating in the sector to provide these systems and to give governments, I guess, the sovereignty and assurance that this isn't just being provided by foreigners, but this is something we own. And I think that private companies can play a really important role in giving that confidence and resilient security for governments across the world that may be provided just by individual countries' governments, and then providing that as a free service maybe cannot provide. So I think that GNSS is absolutely essential and an important complement, but private companies do have a role to play in maturing the sector and providing more of this resilient and sovereignty, I guess, piece that we can offer then to other countries around the world to make sure that their systems are continuous and reliable and they have some control over them.
Okay, thank you, Joshua. Dr. Min-Liang, could you provide your comment?
Yes. I think it's a great question, and I try to answer. One of the primary modes of operation for LEO PNT is enhanced GNSS systems with crossover frequency compatibility and ensuring no mutual interference. Both systems can coexist and complement each other in long term. The LEO system can be regarded as an important auxiliary infrastructure for PNT. In terms of collaboration, the LEO system can utilize GNSS system signals to provide GNSS satellites with more accurate orbit determination results. This collaboration has the potential to assist the GNSS system in improving the performance of its basic navigation services. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So from my viewpoint, I think Leo PNT will become the augmentation for the existing GNSS, and which is going to provide alternative PNT service to the GNSS. So I'm pretty sure that the coexistence between the GNSS and Leo PNT system will continue, and especially our system. We're going to estimate our orbit and clock using precise GNSS measurements coming from Mel. So this kind of combination, like a collaboration between GNSS and Leo PNT system is essential for, especially for our system. So the collaboration between the GNSS and Leo PNT system is becoming more important from now. Okay, we still have 10 minutes. Okay, I want to hear some comments or questions if you have any question or comments from the floor. Okay, please.
Just a short comment. My name is Alexander Middleman. I work for the U.S. Department of Transportation. I was one of the organizers of the Leo PNT summit.
I think he's giving you a microphone for the people online.
Thank you very much. Could you come here? Thanks so much.
First of all, thanks to all the presenters for the really great information. Just a quick comment. I was one of the organizers of the workshop in June of 2023. The cover slides for which J.J. Miller showed at the beginning of his talk. So for those interested in the detail in those slides, those are all posted on the ICG portal. You can see the entire slide deck and all the presentations.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other question, comment from the floor? If no, I have a second question to every panelist. So I think the interoperability and compatibility among the Leo PNT systems will become an important issue. And in my view, such a discussion has not been yet so active in the PNT community. What is the benefit we will enjoy from pursuing the Leo PNT interoperability, and how should we guarantee the compatibility among different Leo PNT systems? So, JJ, could you provide your perspective?
So I think I brought up one of my concerns as a government official with this myriad of systems going up by private companies that spanned a lot of nations. And so in that regard, coordination becomes a little bit more challenging. Within the government, we have the Space Frequency Coordination Group. If you were in our Lunar PNT session, you heard a presentation there where space agencies are able to coordinate. If you have private companies that have proprietary concerns and they're going to be broadcasting on different frequencies, you know, that is a fundamental question. You know, how will they file and work within the World Radio Conference? And you know, you're assuming that you can get everyone to agree to certain frequency bands. You just showed your 5 gigahertz plans, and you know, other companies may be different. So I think the most important thing is to stay transparent as we can, and make sure that we go through the formal ITU processes, and then again take advantage of these ICG type forums so that we're informally communicating before we come to these formal meetings.
Thank you very much. Dr. Reid, could you provide us your comment?
Yeah, it's a really great question, and to maybe answer the first part of that, you know, what are the benefits we might enjoy from that interoperability? Well, I think we see a flavor of that today with the interoperability of the other GNSS systems and the benefit that it brings to have, you know, multi-constellation. So having all of these systems available to kind of really kind of boost the kind of availability of PNT in a variety of different sort of industries, I think is a great benefit to the end user. To how to ensure compatibility, that's a great question as well. And I think that I share the same sentiment as JJ, I think there's really great mechanisms out there for these channels for communication, for these channels for doing this kind of compatibility together through the ITU, through the ICG, through meetings like this for enabling that kind of informal communication. And I think that from what we've seen so far is, we're all after the same thing, which is improving PNT for the end users out there. And so as long as we work together on this, it seems like a surmountable challenge for if we work together. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Joshua, could you provide your comment?
Yes, this is another really fantastic question, and I do think it's absolutely essential. There is interoperability, compatibility between systems. Additionally, I think it's important that the industry, LEO PNT is a very young topic, even though we're seeing systems being developed and demonstrated. And there's reasons why we're developing LEO PNT systems. And that is to serve both mass market applications, but also to improve resilience of PNT itself. And I think that there's a lack of still awareness in the public consciousness towards the potential that mass market and higher accuracy and higher integrity will deliver for their applications, as well as a lack of awareness of the vulnerabilities of PNT infrastructure today. And we as a community have a duty to educate the public and make sure that they are aware of these issues and work together to say we're all interacting and having systems that are compatible with each other to solve these fundamental challenges that face the world today. Because in my honest personal opinion, I think that the sort of vulnerabilities and challenges of GNSS we're seeing today is only a start of what's going to happen over the next years. So I think that these are really fundamental, important conversations to have, and we should all work together and interact together to make sure that our systems are compatible with each other, but also to educate the community towards the challenges that PNT faces.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Mianliang, please.
In my opinion, the advantage of compatibility and interoperability between LEO systems are comparable to those of current GNSS systems. One benefit is the standardization of user terminals in terms of hardware, while another advantage is the ability for users to obtain improved navigation results. To ensure the compatibility, I consider the selection of signal frequency bands to be of utmost importance. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. From my viewpoint, I think the interoperability, compatibility for the LEO PNT satellite systems will become very, very important. Like ICG is gonna hold such a meeting this June, maybe. So that kind of using that kind of conference or meeting, we can exchange the technical details between our respective system and pursue the potential interoperability and compatibility. Very fascinating work to do from now. So the actual, we are now very happy to join such international interoperability discussion. So we are looking forward to the more discussion coming later this year. Okay, you have comments? Question?
So I just have one question, if I may, for any of the providers that's interested to answer. Japan built QZSS to resolve certain issues with processing GPS in the urban canyons and overcoming multipath and so forth. And they've been very successful right now, moving towards a constellation of 11. So that's an example of the government making GNSS more available to everyone. Now, with the European Union's Galileo system, they had plans for a commercial service that was going to be more precise and more resilient, and yet the subscriber foundation for that they could not make a business case. And so, we've backtracked on that a little bit, although everyone will still benefit from the commercial service or whatever the commercial service becomes. In the case of Leo PNT, what is the business case, or what type of subscription basis do you foresee? I look at DirecTV. DirecTV used to be very popular. Now with all streaming, it is suffering, right? It's losing subscribers. And so with all these companies coming up with these great ideas for Leo PNT, is anyone comfortable at this point to provide any kind of example of a subscription type service that they feel would be supported?
Thank you very much, JJ. So it's 12:30, so let's conclude this panel with applause for everybody. Thank you very much.
You did not let them answer the question.
Oh, sorry. It was great. Sorry, I was too nervous. Okay, so let's hear answers to the JJ question. Do you have any comments?
Well, it's for
Yeah.
the providers that are our panelists, our fellow panelists. If someone's comfortable to answer that, what is the return on investment? How will they recoup their cost? Because they're investing a lot in this type of application.
Okay.
So they must show their company. They're private sector companies, right? So, what is is it a subscription service? Is it a public-private partnership? We've heard nothing about how the business case will be laid out.
Okay. Okay. Tyler, do you have any comments on JJ's question?
Yeah, it's a great question, JJ, and could definitely spend a whole half an hour just on an answer to that question for sure. But to give kind of a flavor of this, I mean, there are many examples of folks paying for improvements in GNSS service today. So, for example, the correction service providers, there's a well-established market there in that domain, even all the way down to the smartphone domain with GNSS to make those receivers work. And that's a question we often get from folks is, how do you get people to pay for something that's already free? And the answer is that a lot of industries are already paying for enhancements in GNSS, and they're all looking for ways to take that next step to the next level of service. And with what's out there today, there's not a lot of sort of developments that are because you're sort of limited by what those signals can provide. And so we've seen interest really across many industries. Of course, there are going to be sort of the early adopters, which are the traditional, early adopters of the GNSS technologies. But I'll say we definitely see the market for this from a commercial standpoint as to, a service that's provided on a commercial basis to sustain the what's needed to sustain that constellation and sustain the service. As far as, who's the early adopters, I think that there's the classic early adopters out there. But we've really seen interest across all industries, including some that might surprise you, including, for example, mass mobile. Really looking for, how you integrate something that's simple to integrate, but that brings a lot of value. Because if you can change the infrastructure without changing the actual end device to really bring something new to the table, I think that brings a lot of value, and that's where we've seen people move on that front. But happy to take the chat offline, JJ, as well, too.
Okay. Let me say thank you very much. I think that's just an important aspect of the overall evolution of Leo PNT, and thank you to the panelists.
All right, then let's conclude with applause to everybody attending this panel. Thanks so much. Okay. And also thanks to the remote participation people. Thank you very much. So that's it. But, okay, it was a wonderful panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.